everybody, and welcome back to yet another episode of Against All Odds. And as I say at the beginning of every episode, it's purely selfish because I get to speak to inspiring people and share it all with you. And today is no exception. I'm so excited about this one. I just want to welcome David Barnes to the show. How are you, my lovely?
Oh, I'm great. Wonderful.
Good, good.
Everything's good. Yeah, happy, which is the main thing, isn't it? Happy.
Yeah, that's it. Now, you own a company called R, was it? R4
RX4 late, yeah.
RX4, that's it.
Yeah. So yeah, RX4 lakes came about when I was trying to understand how we operate really. So the R's stand for reset, refocus, recharge, relaunch, and I think that's how we operate on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. And the four elements, earth, water, air, and fire, and what they mean to me and other people, I suppose. So that's how the RX4 came about.
Wow.
And I shoved lakes on the end because that's where I live. So
I like it. And it seems to be going amazing for you. So when did you set this up? What year?
I set this up in May 22,
Right, okay.
but things didn't really move along. It was all set up then, but I was busy trying to, and I suppose I still am a little bit busy trying to understand things a bit better. So I've run a few, well, obviously since then I've run, but I had an event in the October in that year to test a few things, and it just grew from there, I suppose.
Absolutely amazing. So how did you get into all this before we like delve into everything you do? Because everybody has like a turning point of like
So
change.
so obviously, like November 2020, I'd probably hit rock bottom,
Right.
I think. So I was like 19 and a half stone in weight.
Wow.
I was drinking heavily to switch my brain off. My marriage had broken down. You know, I didn't love myself. Me thinking was awful. So from every different facet of life, I was in a bad place. However, I had a really good job. I had a good job and I had a business. But I wasn't happy,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
So obviously I got a coach then, because coaching's important, you know, and I've had a coach ever since really in various formats. So that's always good. And basically just started trying to understand myself. And well, rewind a little bit further. I've been reading books for 25 years. If I could turn the camera there, I used to have like 10 bookcases, and I've read them all. So I understand what I was supposed to do, and I did it for a little bit, and then just didn't do it. So, but now I've got to a point, I suppose. The turning point, the
Oh,
turn
sorry, I'll cut that now. Yeah.
the turning point was, I suppose, that depth that I'd hit the bottom, and I didn't want to be here really. I didn't want to take my own life, but I wasn't bothered about waking up. And I can remember looking in the mirror one day and either going, David, either give up or get up. It's time for something different now. With the circumstances I had at the time, so it was like, right, I'll get up. So basically started getting the basics in place for life.
Yeah.
Moving a bit more, making sure I was hydrated properly, making sure my sleep was a bit better, and obviously then with the coaching, getting some intentions in there, being grateful for the simple things in life. And I suppose the big one, which I think a lot of people struggle with, was downtime.
Yeah.
People are good at uptime, but not so good at downtime, and that was me. The only time I stopped was when I went to sleep.
Yeah.
So trying to put all them things in place, I suppose, was the first step. So it started with movement,
Right.
more, drinking enough water, I mean, I'm really lucky. I live in the Lake District, so there's plenty of fells to walk on. And I think, you know, I could feel myself moving forward. And then I went for a walk one day, and it was like the river. The river said to me, "Come and have a go in here, see what you think."
Right, okay.
So
Nice.
that was my first sort of experience of getting in the cold. It was like I just decided to get in one day, and then that went from there to what's this all about. It felt amazing. It was the middle of winter, mind, so it was cold.
Yeah, yeah.
Middle of winter, so it was cold, and I got out, and it was like, and I think possibly this is where one of the principles come from. It was like someone had hit the reset button on my head.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
if the water's cold enough, you can't be anywhere else either. So your thinking is about that moment, and
Yes.
it was like the first time I can really remember feeling like I'm here. I'm in this moment now. Didn't mean I stopped there, but in that little brief moment in time, I was actually in the water and I could feel it. I could feel my body. Um, so yeah, that's how the cold water journey, I suppose, started.
Wow.
And then I looked into the cold water, and the cold water, then a lot of the things came up about breathing techniques to support you getting into the cold water. So I started looking into the breathing techniques, and started doing my own version of things, and then became a Wim Hof instructor. The breath work and the cold water are probably the two most powerful tools for impacting how you feel that I've come across. Um,
Yeah.
so I've got all them, and then I've done the oxygen advantage training. So yeah,
Wow.
it just seems to have just gone along, and I've picked new pieces up, and and then understood why things work better.
Yes.
But I think the cold water has probably been my go-to since then, really.
Right, okay.
It's a great tool. As I say to everyone, um, every week I run a free community event at the beach, and there's various numbers turn up.
It looks very busy.
Well, a couple of weeks ago there was 100 there,
Wow.
which is awesome. So I've run that for a bit, but what I say to them, if someone asks about it, I say the same thing. It only works every time. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like that.
and it does, it works every time.
Yeah,
It's just like hitting the reset button every time, and you go, well, 2 minutes. 2 minutes does you, if you really want. 2 minutes
yeah,
is perfect, and it's wonderful. It's a wonderful tool to have.
yeah.
And so there we go.
So it looks like you get on those big groups you get as well. It looks like you've got people of all ages and men and women. It's like
Yeah, it varies from sort of 18 to, I've had women turn up there. There was a woman coming, she was 80.
wow, this is
Uh,
amazing.
um, there's people that come every week. There's a group of ladies coming there in the 70s. They've turned up every week since we got gone nearly. Uh,
Wow.
so and there's men and there's women. So there's no like reason why anyone can't do it. Obviously, if you've got certain health conditions, you
I
should.
was about to say, is there certain health conditions where it's not advisable?
Well, heart conditions aren't the best.
Yeah,
Um, there's a list of things that you really need to look out for. And when I'm running workshops, I'll say you can't come if you've got certain conditions, and they differ for breathing and the cold water. There's certain conditions. So heart condition is generally the main one,
yeah,
for the cold.
yeah. What about people like with, like you mentioned the breathing? What about people with like asthma or something like that? It's that,
For the breathing,
yeah,
I think the problem with the breathing at the minute, there's not a lot of people breathe properly.
you're right there.
it's like, and a lot of these ailments. I mean, you'll know a bit about this with your background in the brain, but the brain and the body and the connection to that. But a lot of the ailments are just an unregulated nervous system, and
Yeah.
that's it. And you can regulate your nervous system with good breathing techniques, correct breathing techniques, both with the way that you sequence your breathing, but the way that you mechanically breathe and engaging your diaphragm and things.
Yeah.
I don't want to dig too deep into all the sciencey stuff, but I'll make it so that it's understandable for anyone.
Yeah.
So, good breathing. What does good breathing look like? So, it's about getting that light. If I were going to advise anyone, 3 words to remember: light, slow, deep.
Right. Okay.
Light breathing. So you don't need to breathe heavy. If you breathe heavy, you don't get the benefit of the oxygen. Slow, nice and slow, and deep into your tummy. Engage your diaphragm.
Yeah.
And there's a whole myriad of breathing techniques out there now, but Buteyko, he went into various hospitals and fixed so many people with various ailments by just breathing.
Wow.
You know,
That's fascinating because, yeah, I think the modern world doesn't kind of back our health, and a lot of people are running in overwhelm and stress like that. And one of the first things to be affected is your breath. So it's like we've forgotten how to breathe.
yeah. Fortunately, our body knows how to breathe.
Yeah.
So the autonomic nervous system does it, because obviously, if you didn't when you were asleep, you would just stop. So it's like it's an automatic thing that people are doing. So you've got to, as well as doing it light, slow, deep, do it consciously, breathe
Yes.
consciously. Um, Before we finish, I'll share a brilliant technique that I use with. So at the community dip, what we do, I ask them a couple of questions and I give them something to think about every week, and then we do one of 4 or 5 different dead simple 2-minute breathing exercises,
Wow.
which just gets your nervous system into that nice place, ready to get in the water.
Wow. Okay. That would be great.
Yeah,
Right, let's get back onto these cold dips and ice baths, because I mentioned before the podcast I've set myself a cold dip challenge. And I've
yeah,
set this goal so many times and probably got about 3 or 4 in and then just binned it off. Like, I've made everything a priority above it. But this time I was like, right, I'm going to do what I said I was going to do. And I've even put it all over social media to do 24 ice baths in 12 weeks. And I'm at 18 at the minute.
so how many weeks are you in?
So I've been doing 2 a week.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah. So
In
I've
week 9.
yeah. So I'm doing it. Like I said to you before, I'm never excited to get in. I
Yeah,
never look forward to it, but afterwards, it's really hard to explain how I feel, because obviously you have to. The first time I did it, I couldn't breathe.
yeah,
I literally could not get my breath. And then over time, I've learned to breathe better.
yeah.
And then I have such a really good night's sleep afterwards.
So do you do it in the evenings?
I do it I do it about 7 o'clock.
Yeah. I mean, it's quite crazy because I've tried getting in the cold water at various times of the day. I've got an ice bath in the garden. I go to the lake, I go to rivers, I go to the sea. And it's as if your body knows what it needs and it takes it. It's like in the morning, it energizes you. In the evening, it relaxes you.
Yeah.
Um, and I've looked into the science behind that, and there is none. So it's
Oh,
like
okay.
I
That's
can't, I
weird, isn't
can't.
it?
It's just nature, I think.
Yeah. Because I have a really good night's sleep afterwards. I wear root bands, and always the next day my HRV's up,
Yeah,
my resting heart rate's down, and so it's telling me that these are good for me. But tell me the actual benefits of an ice bath physically and mentally.
So it obviously boosts your resilience. So the more you do it, the more tolerant you become. Is he getting it? The question I suppose I'd ask you, against the first one to the last one you did, how much different do you feel about both getting in the ice bath for the first question, I suppose? Do you feel it's getting easier? Because it never becomes easy. If the water's cold, the water's cold.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's become easier in the fact that my head just goes, just get in it, Amy. It's three
Yeah,
minutes.
yeah.
So it's still as cold, and but the mindset's shifted on it, so I don't make such of a drama out of it now.
Yeah. So I think what happens as well. So it boosts mental resilience, but I think it boosts mental resilience not just in getting in the ice bath in life.
Yes.
So, and I observed that for myself when I was put in the same circumstance 12 months later when I was doing something with regard to work, this exact same circumstance. And I can remember the first one, I would say the word would be uneasy, but I was shitting myself.
Yeah.
12 months later, after getting in the ice bath regular, I was in the same circumstance and I was absolutely fine. It was wonderful. So there you go. So there's the first one: boosts mental resilience,
Yeah.
improves your mood and reduces anxiety.
Yeah.
So obviously, I said the science is there. The norepinephrine, the dopamine, um, that gets released into your body. They're doing trials now with the NHS, I believe, in Portsmouth, where they're prescribing cold water therapy instead of antidepressants because it releases the same chemicals into your body, but naturally.
Are they really?
Apparently, I mean,
Oh
someone
no,
told me that at one of the workshops I was at.
right. I really hope that's right, because
Yeah,
that's what we did, isn't it?
yeah. I mean, I've wrote a few things down. I didn't know what you were going to ask. I mean, I know all the answers, but I'm trying to put them in some sort of structure. Um, Focus, sharpens your focus. Reduces inflammation in the body. So, it works out, it reduces the blood flow in your muscles. So again, if you've done it post exercise, depends what type of muscle you're looking at. So if you're looking at grown muscle, you don't want to be getting in the cold water. But if you're looking at recovery for running and things like that, it's great. Um, so improves the immune function. It improves the production of white blood cells. I don't really want to just read off these, but I mean, I wrote these things down just before you come on because I thought I'll just I mean, I think the main one, it's it's about making you present. You know, the,
Yes.
the last main one is it makes you present. You can't, depends on the temperature. You've got to concentrate. I mean, the first time you did it, you will have been concentrating on surviving. If it was,
Yes.
which sounds awful, but our bodies are made to survive, and without any underlying health conditions, you'll be all right. That's it.
Yeah.
You'll be absolutely fine. So it's about just you can't not be in that moment, and you can
Yeah.
feel. It's like you feel things more powerfully.
Yeah.
Depends on the temperature, but obviously all them chemicals are getting released in your body. When I go and take people in waterfalls and things like that, I'll say to them, have a look at them leaves before you get in the water, and the pine cones and things, and you get out, and it's like everything you can see things more clearly
Yeah.
because of the release of them chemicals in your body. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, so yeah, I think that they're the main ones. There's hundreds and hundreds of them, of benefits. I mean, you could say getting out, moving, going to find a waterfall in nature. It's fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's fun. You're moving. Nature's nourishing you all the time you're in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I said this to someone the other day. When was the last time you went out in nature and came back and went, I wish I'd never bothered? Doesn't happen, does he?
Doesn't, no, it doesn't. You're so right. And I always talk about like getting out in nature because I speak about neurogenesis quite a lot, which is the growth of new neurons.
Yeah,
It's heavily around nature and what you do. Because if you think about it, we're not designed to sit in a house with central heating and get in a red hot bath with bubbles and things like that. Like back in evolution, we had no hot water, so we had to get in the cold.
yeah,
We weren't in built up cities. We had wide open spaces.
yeah. I mean,
And being in nature and doing everything you do is just, you
yeah.
know,
I mean, at the end of the day, I, I say this a lot to people as well. We're cavemen and cavewomen living in a modern world. We're still the same creature.
yeah, we're still hardwired.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And that's why when we're overstimulated a lot of the time. You'll know a lot about this as well, but
yeah,
we're overstimulated a lot of the time, and getting out in nature and just connecting with that, it's wonderful.
yeah. And I suppose with the like the cold dips and that, you're having to focus on your breathing as well. That's what I've noticed.
Yeah,
You have to focus on it.
yeah. Well, I suppose it's like anything. Practice makes
Yeah,
progress.
yeah,
Depends on the temperature of the water. So the colder, the more you have to concentrate, but the more you practice, the easier it becomes.
yeah, yeah,
But I've been doing it most days for the last 4 years. I've been
right.
in showers and things, but I've been in the cold water probably every day in the last 4 years at some level. Even when I've been older, get the shower as cold as I can, which is generally not that cold, like.
Yeah,
But so anything under 16 degrees is classed as a cold immersion.
right, okay,
Anything under 8 degrees is classed as an ice bath.
right, okay.
Um, but like anything else, there's techniques for doing anything, and the one that I share every week is, and you'll know about this with the connection with the breathing and the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system. If I was suggesting anything to anyone that was going to get in cold water the first time, I would do some simple breathing techniques, either box breathing or
Yeah,
coherent breathing, just to regulate and get your nervous system into a nice place. And then when you get in the water with walking, I mean, it's different when you get in a tank. When I'm getting like up to 100 people in the sea, obviously I pair them up.
yeah,
And if there's only one of them, I say to them, if there's only one of you, when you get out, there's one of you not here. So,
yeah,
so don't get out by yourself. And all I say is walking up to your waist or getting up so you could get in your ice bath up to your waist, and then take a breath through your nose.
yeah.
And then as you sink down, just breathe out through your mouth. That puts your nervous system in the best place possible. And then
Oh, I'm gonna
breathe.
use that one. Yeah, I'm gonna try
Breathe.
that.
Try it. Try
Yeah,
it. Let us know how you get on. It
yeah,
works because you know that you're putting your body into rest and relax.
yeah,
Even
yeah.
doing it once sitting here, you can feel your body
I
relaxes.
was about to say you actually can, can't you? And it feels really nice as well once you've done that,
Yeah.
which is quite. I can remember I didn't really get into like the breathing and learning about it until about a year ago, and I was actually really surprised when I started to do it myself, and I was like, I had no idea how tense I was or I was breathing.
Yeah.
But because we do walk around not knowing, don't we?
Yeah. Being conscious.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
It's-
you're right though.
yeah,
You've got to concentrate on breathing a certain way, and I think that's a great thing to just to go, how am I breathing? Am I breathing into my tummy? Am I breathing into my chest? Am I breathing fast? Am I breathing slow? Am I breathing through my nose? Am I breathing through my mouth? Am I breathing in through my nose and out through my mouth? I mean, there's not many others. Breathing in through your mouth and out through your nose is about the last one there, but you know,
Yeah.
but nasal breathing is amazing. If you can start concentrating on breathing through your nose more and less through
Yes.
your mouth. Um,
Yeah. Because
so
that makes a massive difference to your health, isn't it? Nose breathing.
yeah,
Again,
well,
I didn't realise how much I was breathing through my mouth until I paid attention. I was like, oh my
yeah,
God.
but at least you've raised your awareness to it, haven't you?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that's good. But yeah, I don't know what question we were on by the way there.
Oh,
Like,
I don't know. I just been our chat. So, how long, if somebody's getting an ice bath or they're going in a cold shower or anything like that, how long would you recommend? Because you hear all sorts. If you Google it, like you don't get a proper answer.
so what I would say, if you want to start getting into cold water, I mean, we've talked briefly about the benefits. I would start with cold showers,
Right.
um, and just do set yourself a little target for a week, maybe three cold showers of 30 seconds. That's
Right.
that's how I would start. Three cold showers of 30 seconds in week one, and then do 45 seconds, a minute and a half. Build up as you'll feel it, you'll know.
Yeah.
Um, and I would start with cold showers. It's in a safe environment. Um, you can knock it on hot again. You know, it's the perfect way to start getting into cold water with cold showers. And 30 seconds, you know, it's long enough to make you feel uncomfortable.
Yes.
And the other thing I would say, if you're gonna do a cold shower, I would do it in the morning, and I would finish on cold, not on hot, because finishing on cold will boost your energy for a few hours afterwards, especially if you're brand new to it.
Yeah.
And what that'll do, that'll support you wanting to do it again. Um,
Yes. Yeah.
you know, the feeling you get after that 30-second cold shower is amazing, especially if it's brand new to you,
Yeah.
and you'll be bouncing all day.
That's it. So you don't have to go out and buy an ice bath. You could just get in the cold shower because I know loads of people go, "I'll have to do that," but it means I've got to go and get an ice bath.
Yeah, you don't need an ice
You
bath.
don't have an ice bath.
You don't need an ice bath. I would start with showers and see how you get on. Showers are I don't know which. Everyone has a different opinion on this because I ask people all these various questions. Showers can be harder
Yeah, I
than the
don't.
ice bath
Mm,
because you know you've got to sort of move around in it, and you've got to sort of when you're in an ice bath, you can sort of switch your brain off a little bit, can't you?
yes. Yeah. Do you know, I was about to say that. So I got in the North Sea. It was a few years back now, and there was a group of us that did it. So we all did this training of getting in a cold shower. And I found it really hard. And the reason was because I could move out of it if I wanted to.
Yeah,
Whereas in the ice bath, I'm in there.
yeah,
So if I move, I'm still cold. So I find it easier.
yeah, yeah. But you know your body. If you sit still in an ice bath, it depends if it's got a pumping system on, like, but your body builds up a layer of insulation with a little layer of water around you.
Yeah, yeah. So then
So
when I move,
you
it
know,
gets colder.
and then if you move your hands a little bit, you'll feel it. You'll feel the difference again.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, but it's you know, so there's plenty. I mean, make sure you go in pairs, but there's plenty of seas and rivers and lakes and all around the country. So there's always somewhere to go.
yeah,
But most people have a shower, so that's the easy option, isn't it?
yeah, yeah. Absolutely, absolutely.
So,
So if you've done the 30 seconds of ice shower and you've invested in an ice bath or you've found a lake, how long would you recommend then?
well, if you've built up from 30 seconds to a minute, if you've got 2 minutes, 2 minutes does you.
Right, okay.
Depends on the temperature, but
Hmm.
minutes impacts your body enough for the benefits to be felt. So you
Yeah,
don't need to be a hero about it. And that's what I say as well every week at the thing. We're not here to be heroes, we're here to enjoy it and feel the benefits.
yeah. And it's like the good thing about it, it's like an instant benefit. You feel the results straight away, don't you?
Yeah. You sort well, when you're in 2 minutes, depends on the temperature, doesn't it?
Yeah,
You know, the seas are getting warmer, the lakes are getting warmer now, but middle of winter, you can certainly feel it. And there's times depends on the air temperature as well.
yes,
So there's times where the air temperature's colder than the water temperature.
right.
You get in, you stood there in your dukas. It's a good Cumbrian word that for you. It means swimming trunks. You stood there in your swimming trunks or your shorts or your swimming costume or whatever, and the air temperature's like 2 degrees. The water's going to be 5 or 6, or it's going to be warmer. So you get in the water and you think, this isn't that bad. It's a difference in temperature you're feeling.
Yeah, and then you get out and it's absolutely freezing.
Yeah. I mean, Sunday morning this week, it was raining. It was a bit windy. In fact, it was a lot windy. And I said, it's good when you're walking down that beach in your swimming gear. Just remember this. This is nature telling you you're alive. You can
Yeah,
feel the wind on your face. You can feel the cold on you. Um, it's just it's marvelous. It's telling you you're alive. That's it.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know.
And there's no like that is just present, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like when you've got to that point, it's just present. And then I suppose you start to see the world in a different way, mate. Like you were saying about looking at the leaves and the cones and things like that. And
Yeah. Well, it's like your mask's off, or your eyes are open, or however you want to describe it. That level of presence. I mean, that's just a couple of the tools I use. I meditate and everything. I do a lot of things just to keep the balance right. So
oh, I love that.
um, keep the balance right, but they all support one another.
Yes.
It's like what works for you. So what do you do? When you feel good, what have you been doing? When you feel bad, what have you been doing? Do more of what makes you feel good and less of what makes you feel bad. And that
Yeah.
transition is great.
Yeah. Absolutely. I meditate as well, mate.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah. Well, you know, it, it's scientifically proven to
Yes.
do a job.
Yeah.
And that space for that stillness, it's
Yeah. And I think, like with the meditation, the breathing, the cold dips and everything, this is why I love what you do, because it makes people stop and just have like 5 minutes.
yeah,
Because I do believe that we are a nation of people that are running around and we don't know how to do that,
yeah, to stop.
to stop
Yeah,
and
yeah,
to be present. I think that's I spoke about it on another podcast a couple of weeks ago. I think it's the biggest crime against humanity that this world is so busy and everything's too much for us.
yeah.
We've
Well,
lost the ability to stop.
yeah. Well, it's all down to the way that your nervous system's operating, isn't it?
Yeah,
We're always operating in fight or flight. Well, we depends who you are, but you know, we're always. It's hard to stop, but like anything, you've got to practice. You've got to
yeah,
practice stopping, practice slowing down. A lot of the social media stuff I do. I mean, I did one a couple of weeks ago, and I don't swear very often, really, and I don't swear on social media much, but I put the swear word in twice. Will you just fucking stop?
yeah,
Because it needed to be emphasized.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I think
it-
it's a gap.
Yeah.
Like anything else, you've got to practice it. Got to
Yeah.
practice slowing down.
Yeah. And I think your job's important as well, because I think, when somebody learns to slow down and stop, it feels alien. It feels uncomfortable because we're not used to it.
Yeah.
So going to somebody who knows what they're on about, like yourself, and going, right, we're going to do this, we're going to try this, we're going to try this, I think that's massively helpful.
Especially from someone who didn't know how to stop
Yeah.
because they
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah, exactly that. Because I know, and I think as well, that's probably why I binned the cold dips off quite a lot in the past, because I was kind of going at it alone.
Yeah.
I didn't have anybody there to go, do you know what, it's probably going to feel a bit shitty the first time you do it, you're not probably going to be able to breathe all right, and then things like that. So I binned it off because I was like, this isn't working. Like, no, it's not for me.
Yeah.
When the reality is, I just needed somebody like you to sit there and tell me what the benefits are, how it's going to feel,
Yeah.
how to breathe.
Yeah.
And now I know that I can get in there and my mind can go blank for a couple
Yeah.
of minutes, and I'm focusing on my breath.
I mean, when you get in the water for the first time, if you're getting in an ice bath, you won't need told how to breathe. You'll just breathe how you breathe.
Yeah, I know.
The point is, if you can get that breath through your nose and sink down and breathe out through your mouth, that's getting you in the best starting position. When you're in that water, I must have held, so I've been running this thing every week for like 20 months. I must have held hundreds of people's hands, men and women, different ages, just to give them that bit of comfort. They
Yeah,
only need a bit everyone wants that level of security, but when you're in a big group like that and you've got, you know, got older people's hands, and I'll say, you're going to be all right, you know. But the breathing, some of them are fast, and
yeah.
it varies, and it's a good indicator on the state of mind of how they're being that day as well.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So you can sort of gather where they're at on the day with things, and I know that for myself. If you know, I mean, I try to keep the balance really good, but I know if my energy's a bit low, it's harder to do. And I can feel my breathing doesn't feel as relaxed and as conscious.
Do you know what? I'm glad you've said that, because I could, 90% of the time I'm fine now doing it. But there'll be the odd day where it just feels a little bit different. And it could have been that I'd been a bit stressed in the day, or I've been a bit tired or something, where it
Yeah,
seems that little bit harder. So that makes sense now.
yeah. Well, if you think about it, your capability is based on your energy.
Right. Yeah.
So it's gonna impact you if you've got low energy for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Absolutely incredible. Do you ever get people? So obviously, like I say, I'm getting people. I post it on social media purely for accountability this time,
Yeah.
because I don't want to look stupid by not doing it. But I'm getting loads of people go to me, "What the hell are you doing that for? Are you insane?"
Oh yeah. Well, we walk down the beach and there's various. I mean, I think I did a post in it a couple of weeks ago, maybe a couple of months ago. There's always generally a man saying, "You lots nutters," and I say, "And there's only one nutter here, and it's not us." It's like, just because you've always done something a certain way doesn't mean you can't do it different. Uh,
Yeah,
the benefits, the benefits are amazing.
yeah,
And I think I recorded. I got a field of sheep to start to start making the sheep. Meh. I started making a noise, and I got all these sheep, and I videoed it. And I did this post that said, "Don't be a sheep. Make your own choices in life."
yeah,
I don't think there's anyone come to the community dip that hasn't loved it. And
Yeah.
there's been average 50 people for the last 20 months. What's that? 3,500 or something.
Wow. Do you know what? That just speaks volumes in itself.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
I mean, some of them are some people come every single week. You know, they love
Yeah.
it. They love it. I mean, these are just a couple of the tools that I use for me and I use to help people there. I mean, that's a small part of the RX4 business, like, but it's a tool that anyone can use. And a lot of the tools that I share are about, once you learn them, no one can take them off you. That's what I want for people. It's
Yeah.
like no one can take how you breathe away from you. No one can take how you move. No one can take, how grateful you are for what you've got in your life. And there's water all over the world, so you can always
Yeah.
get into water. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
the earth, we live on it. You can't avoid it. You know
Yeah.
what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and like the sun, the fire elements, the sun and the sauna, and
Yeah.
it's marvelous. I mean, the sun coming up, the sun going down. It just every day I love it. It's
Oh, do you know what? We are so on the same page here because yeah, and the majority of people miss all of that, and it's the small things, isn't it, that's accessible.
yeah,
And
yeah,
like you say, nobody can take that away from you. And there is you just sharing all your knowledge with people. Absolutely fascinating.
yeah, yeah,
Just incredible. So you run events as well, don't you? So you've got your community
yeah.
and you run events as well.
Yeah, I've been running like things called reset workshops, and
Yeah.
I've little 2 hour slot ones. Obviously at the beach, I've got a mobile sauna now.
Wow.
They're all sort of over here, but obviously I run programs as well for business owners and consultants and senior managers and I do use the tools, the cold water and the breathing, but this is more of a balance, get
Yeah.
balance in your life.
Yeah.
So I've got a thing I've wrote there called the Balance Journal, and I've got a new product that I'm just about to launch called the Balanced Leader,
Right.
which is about basically I've worked in leadership and I understand the stresses and the pressures that can come with it.
Yeah.
So it has a potential to impact your life in ways that you don't want it to. And most, the difference between a good leader, a good person in leadership, and a bad one is the leader, obviously. But it's
Yeah.
about who they are, what
Yeah.
got going on inside. Are they in alignment with themselves? Are they agile? Do they take the right action at the right time? So this new product's going to be um, using some of them tools, but digging in deep on a lot of the values and beliefs and showing up words and all of that sort of stuff to try and get a different version of a leader in a leadership role.
Yeah. Because everything changes when that happens, right?
The impact, it's
Yeah.
like, I'm the leader of our community group only because I set it up. I am the leader. I go on and support people every week, but the impact of that's massive.
Yeah.
And if you get the right leader in the right location, the impact in any environment can be massive. Where
Yeah.
people go, take some downtime,
Yes.
stop, or whatever it might be, because if that person knows the benefit that they've felt, that means they're going to want the best out of the people that work for them
Yeah.
and generating the next level of leadership, isn't it?
That's it. And it affects your family life and your relationships like that. So you become a better person all round, don't you?
Of course you do. And
Yeah.
that's the point. That's what the balanced leader is all about. It's about the different areas of your life. getting balance, you know, self-health, wealth, relationships and fun. And I learned that the hard way, rewinding back to the start of our conversation. I had a great job, business, but so wealth in terms of getting financially repaired was great. Myself was broke, my health was broke, my relationships were broke, and I didn't know how to have fun. So what's the point in having a load of money and being unhappy and unhealthy and
Yeah.
stressed every day? You don't need it. So it's
No.
getting that balance and turning them knobs up and down like a mixing deck to try and get that balance right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you get the balance right, you can start moving them all up together.
Yes.
Your health
Yeah.
improve, your self improve, your relationship. It just does. I've lived it. I've lived it for the last 4.5 years, and I've
Yeah.
proved to myself really.
Yeah. I didn't
Proved
realise
myself
you'd lost
right.
all that weight. I had no idea that you'd. I had no idea at all.
Yeah. When I set off, I was 19, nearly 20 stone.
Blimey.
Smoking, so I don't smoke.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't drink. So the last drink I had, well, last time I was drunk was the 8th of the 8th, 21. So I think, again, I think the cold water played a part in that.
Yeah.
Getting a different set of habits and a different set of behaviours and a different set of coping mechanisms instead of just turning to drink.
Yeah.
Because that was my go-to. That was my nemesis, alcohol.
Yeah. 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 Oh, mate, what a journey you've had.
Aye. Yeah.
Absolutely love that. Right, last question for you. Everybody struggles with this one. David, tell me 3 good things about yourself.
3 good things about myself. I love myself.
Yes.
3 good things. I've got millions.
Good. I like to hear that.
I love myself. I'm a good partner. I'm a great partner, and I care deeply about my community.
Wow, you definitely do. Just by every time you turn up and how it's grown, you can see that.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible. So if somebody wants to come on one of your events or like join one of your programs or anything like that, where can they find you?
So I'm on social media.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, David Barnes, RX4 Lakes. There's an RX4 community group as well,
All right, okay.
which we share all the individual pictures and that. You'd love it. You'd love. There's good. I mean, I put prompts in there as well about various things weekly. And then obviously I've got a website.
Yeah, yeah. I will
So
put the links up.
yeah,
I really do recommend it. I can tell a massive difference in the way I'm feeling. And if anybody's kind of thinking of doing something similar, I would highly recommend that you get in contact with David because he's the man with the know. And I always think knowing the why you need to do something is really important.
yeah.
Yeah.
There you go, man.
Well, thank you for being such a fantastic guest. I will get to this 24 eye tips. I'll tell you, I am going to come on an event as well. So,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh well, wonderful. You do what works for you, pal. That's what I
Yes.
say.
Yes. Thank you. Well, thanks for joining me.
No bother.